Many graduate engineers wait to get more to register as professional engineers. More experience, more CPDs, more knowledge of how the process is. But the more you delay it, the longer the process takes you, longer than it needs to. And this delay usually comes from not understanding the whole process clearly. And I've talked to a couple of graduates over the past 4 years, and I get calls every time asking me the same questions. And I've seen the very same things hold people down when it comes to professional engineer registration process. In this video, I want to take you through 5 things that I think once you know this process is going to be seamless for you. And these are the things that have been making graduate engineers feel that it's not time for them to move to the next category of engineering registration as the EBK outlines them: graduate, professional, and consulting engineer. And if you stay to the end, I'll point you to a guide that will help you answer every question that people who have gone through this process usually have year in, year out. So the first thing that graduate engineers don't know about professional engineer registration process is that you need to start early and you need to set a deadline. The reason why you need to start early, and what I mean by starting early, is that you need to have a whole outlook or have even the knowledge of this is something that is required of me, right? Because when you know this, it means that you'll start the preparation, and it means that when you're out there getting engineering experience, you're also looking for this experience that EBK needs for you to move to the next level. So if you don't have contract management experience, for example, you'll be looking out for contract management tasks in your daily duties now wherever you are working. So I always recommend that you treat this process as professional development so that it's not overwhelming. Now, why create a deadline? We are very busy people. Things are urgent. Everything seems urgent. If you do not create a deadline to anything, I want you to just think about your work, your job. What gets done? Only what has a deadline. A project can drag for as long as the deadline it's been given. If you don't set a deadline, you will do it forever. I promise you. And engineers are perfectionists. They always want to, even when it comes to drawings, even when it comes to doing designs, you always want to add something. So the trick there is just set a deadline. Tell yourself, I'm gonna do this once you are ready, once you get the requirements. I'm going to do this in the next 4 months. I'm going to sit for my interview, then fill in what's remaining in between. That's the only way if you don't want to take years doing this. Because really, what is professional engineer registration? It is putting your experience into 2 reports and proving to the board that you're ready to register. Another thing that I've seen holding graduate engineers back is thinking they do not have enough experience, right? And this comes from not knowing the whole EBK requirements, because once you know this, then you'll know once you get the right design experience, once you get the right construction supervision experience, once you get the right contract management experience. But then the question that comes here is also, what if I don't have design experience? What if I don't have contract management experience? So this is why you should know this. And I say, start the reports. Know how many do you have? You have to calculate, because most times there's that table for distributing your in part 1 for distributing your months that you've spent in different categories. How many do you have? And then you ask yourself, how can I get the rest? I've seen people literally look for what's spending because they have every other thing except for this thing, and they seek for it and they get through the process. So what do you have? If you don't start the process, you wouldn't know that. So you probably have something, you've not just looked at your experience keenly. And this is why also documenting experience is very important, because you always forget. Once you move to other organizations and other projects, you literally forget some of the things that you did and some of the things that you learned. And now there is social media. You can use social media to document whatever you're doing in your work. Yeah, and some other thing that I think is holding graduate engineers back, honestly, when it comes to registration, is thinking, oh my God, do I need 50 CPDs per year? Because this CPD thing is also something that people, I don't know why it stresses people out. But literally, if you are developing yourself post registration, you are, learning something, you are, attending webinars, trainings, developing yourself, just growing yourself in things that will build you as an engineer. And sometimes it doesn't have even to be engineering related. You can even build yourself in communication. It counts as CPD. You're growing yourself as an engineer. So as long as you are doing that, you're good with the CPD thing. There's a time EBK said they recommend 25 points, but honestly, I've never seen anyone check. But in your part one, you will need to demonstrate that you've been growing yourself as an engineer, right? And if at this point you're asking yourself, how do I even piece all this together? Like, I'm already so confused, Marion. I actually created a resource for someone like you, someone who's just asking themselves, I just want to see everything, start to finish and everything in between required for me. I've created a resource for you, EBK Professional Registration for dummies because it's simple and it has everything simplified for you. And I've put it in the description box. Ensure you get yourself a copy. Now, on to the other thing that holds graduate engineers back. Oh my God, it's the fear of interviews and feeling that, how am I going to face that board and prove to them that I have gained the right amount of experience? One thing about interview within EBK is that they will only ask you what you've put in your report. They will only ask you what you've experienced. It's not like, the exams we used to do back in the days where the lecturer, he would teach and then he will set what he didn't teach, right? For EBK, okay, just calm down. It will be what is in your report, right? Okay, yeah. And now the very last thing I think holds people from starting this process is the part to report. Because, okay, they're thinking, right? Do I have the right project? Which project should I use? And this is a very common question. The trick about your part to report is, what engineering solution are you providing? And how are you designing this solution? Is this a real project and not a made up project? As long as it's a real project, it's something that you worked on and you are providing an engineering solution, that's all you need. Just one requirement from EBK about the part to report, it has to be 5 years and younger. So if you look at it, really, it's knowing you have what it takes, you have the right experience, and if you don't, starting is what gets you the experience. So the second thing will be starting. And then, no, you don't need CPDs, but you need to grow yourself. Like, nobody's going to be checking the 50. The interview is nothing to worry about as long as you understand your reports. And your part to report, are you solving an engineering solution? If you are, you're probably good. I hope this helps you take that step and start registering with the EBK as a professional engineer. See you in the next video.